Hi, economic students. How do you do? Hope you're safe. Very excited to welcome you once again to Jesse Bear School's online tutorial platform. I'm still your host, Mr. Linus. Last week we started this topic, mining. Because of time constraints, we couldn't finish the topic. And today we're going to wrap up the topic. Our focus today is on the effects of mining. Your takeaways are upon conclusion of this lesson, you should be able to outline the positive effects of mining, identify and explain the negative effects of mining, highlight the solutions to the negative effects of mining. Please stay tuned. Positive effects of mining. Number one, revenue generation or income generation. Taxes, royalties, licenses on mining activities are sources of revenue generation to the government. Now, taxes are compulsory levy imposed on incomes to an organization, to an individual, or on goods and services. Good. Taxes, in this case, we're talking about company tax. Mining companies pay their taxes to the government, and that serves as government revenue. We also have royalties. Royalties here are payments made to the government or to an owner of a property or mineral reserve for the use of such property or such reserve. We also have licenses. Companies pay licenses for them to operate in a country, especially foreign companies. So mining companies pay their taxes to the government, and that serves as what? Revenue to the government. Also have raw materials for industry. But before that, let me add one more point to that particular first point. Here, individuals, workers, mining workers can as well earn revenue as a staff, as a worker in any of the components of the mining sector. So such revenue is also generated as a result of mining activities. So it's also a form of revenue generation to an individual. Now, in this case, miners or mining staff. Next point is raw materials for industries. Raw materials like limestone is used for cement industries. We have granite and gravel for construction companies. Now, in this case, because of mining activities, because mining sector exists, there comes limestone, gravel, and granite. They cannot exist without the existence of mining sector. Without mining sector, they cannot exist because mining activity or mining sector enables the provision of these materials, raw materials, and code. So they help these industries like cement industry or construction companies to exist, to serve, they make provision for the raw materials used in these sectors or industries. We have improvement of standard of living. Money earned from minerals is used to provide social and basic amenities which improve the well-being of the people. Here, money generated by the government is now used to make provision for social and basic amenities for the people. So it's because mining sector is in existence. That's why money could be generated. Such money is now in turn used to better the lives of the people. Now basic amenities could be education, good education system, good healthcare facility, good markets, banks, electricity, and what have you. So they are made possible or they are provided because there is a source of revenue, which is mining sector. The next point is what? Foreign exchange earning. The import of minerals like petroleum, coal, tin, etc. provides foreign exchange for the country as well as The export of minerals like petroleum, coal, tin, etc. provides foreign exchange for the country as well as favorable balance of payment. Balance of payment is a financial statement or record showing the relationship between a country's total payments to other countries and its receipts from them in a year. And here, balance of payment comes when you have international trade. Example, a trade between Nigeria and Ghana, or Nigeria and China, or Nigeria and United States of America. Now, in this case, when export is more than import, now export gives you what we call receipt, which is known as revenue. Import brings what we call payment, which is known as expenditure. So in this case, when revenue is more than payment, you have a favorable balance of payment. So here, because minerals we produce here, we export virtually all of them. So in this case, we earn more foreign exchange. Therefore, we earn more what? Receipt from international trade. So it gives the country what we call a favorable balance of payment because of mining sector. We have employment opportunities. Mining provides jobs for different components of this sector. That's true. We have different components. We have the upstream, we have the downstream, we also have the midstream. So these sectors have workers that control the affairs in all of them. So the workers are given job because mining sector is in existence. So it's a source of revenue, it's a source of employment opportunity for people. Next, negative effects. Number one, deforestation rather. Deforestation. Mining often leads to the deforestation of large areas of land in order to meet the worldwide demand for resources. Mining companies have to expand their territories, which means turning forest land into land that can be mined. Now, what he's saying is because there's need to meet the demands of solid minerals like gold, copper, limestone, and what have you, the mining companies decide to venture into other lands or use other lands that are actually meant for afforestation. They now fall down trees, and felling down trees causes what we call deforestation, which will cause problem to our wildlife system. That is animals living in the forest. It will become uncomfortable for them, and we'll lose our wildlife value. So that's one of the problems. The next one is effects through the food chain. Effects through the food chain. The adverse effects of mining on animals and plants get human beings affected since we are likely to consume them in later stages of the food cycle. For example, when we consume fish that is contaminated with hard chemicals, we can also suffer diseases since we get contaminated by these hard chemicals or heavy metals as well. That is it. Now, if you go to Ogoniland in Port Harcourt, there's this place they say they clear Ogoniland. Some of them they've lost their job, their farming job. They've lost their fishing job. They don't go about hunting again. Especially in fishing, here the water is already contaminated. And sometimes they go about fishing and still get some fishes which might have been contaminated by these heavy chemicals. And human beings in turn eat of them. And once they eat of them, there's every tendency that they get infected or get contaminated as well. And from there, they can contract any disease. This is a harmful effect. Next point is, and that this is because mining sites are not well good taken care of. They are not well taken care of. So because of that reason, they they have adverse effects on the people. We also have air pollution. That's another disadvantage. Mining also leads to air pollution. For mining purposes, big machines are often used in order to make the mining process more effective and to reduce the physical work of miners or for miners. However, these machines emit large amounts of harmful gases that are injurious to human health. That is absolute. So here we have you can if you have ever walked past mining sites, I tell you you can barely walk past it because you keep inhaling toxins and it's not good for our health. So it's you can see the pictures there, you can see how smokes are going in the air. So it's very harmful to the human body and it could cause lungs cancer, cancer of the lungs, and some other diseases. The next effect or negative effect is erosion. Since mining often includes the extraction of metals and other resources deep down the Earth's surface, it can lead to serious erosions. These erosions may in turn lead to a state where the eroded land is no longer suitable for human use, like housing, farming, since the soil is too unstable or unstable and poses too many dangers of further erosion. Now, what I'm saying is this erosion here, erosion is the washing away of soil surface. So, if the surface of the earth you're seeing is being washed off because of the adverse effect of mining, because of heavy chemicals contaminating the land, some peeling off the earth's surface because they are too hard and they are hazardous to the earth's surface. Good. If they keep happening, you will discover that we can't even see where we farm again. We can't even see where we put up erect buildings because the earth's surface is already contaminated, it's weakened because of mining activities. The next one is hearing issues. Hearing damages are another quite common effect when it comes to working in mines. Some machines that are used for mining purposes can be quite loud. If the workers are not properly protected, they can suffer from severe hearing losses. Now, this is quite self-explanatory. So, what this simply means is individual could easily lose their sense of hearing because they hear of too much sound virtually every day. And this is specifically applicable or it specifically concerns the mining workers. So here, if they are not properly protected, if they are not well covered, their ears are not well covered, there's every tendency that they get hearing impairment. It becomes unable for them to hear clearly, and it's a big disadvantage. And it's one of the adverse effects of what? Mining. Sometimes, let me add this point, mining also reduces the productive capacity of the agricultural sector. That's one of the things you have to note. It reduces the productive capacity of the agricultural sector in the sense that mining sites actually prevent agricultural activity in that particular area because the heavy chemicals will definitely affect the soil and makes it infertile for crops to grow. So it's one of the problems. Next thing on our list is Solutions to the negative effects of mining. Solutions to the negative effects of mining. Number one, government regulations. Government regulations. One important measure against the potential adverse effects of mining on our environment are government regulations and restrictions. Authorities have to make sure that mining is done in a responsible manner. This includes the protection of workers and also the protection of the local wildlife and plants. That is, like I said earlier about wildlife, good, our animals. So here, what this is saying is government should implement policies that actually guide the mining activities so that they don't go out of their bound. One of the things they have to be checkmated on the protection of workers to avoid hearing impairment, the protection of our farms to improve agricultural productivity, and the protection of what wildlife, which also improve agricultural activities, in this case forestry. So it's one of the things government should do, call it a duty to regulate the mining activities for a proper running of mining sector. Next one is reduce consumption. Our excessive consumption levels also contribute to the problems caused by mining. In our daily life and in our society in general, everyone wants to have the newest smartphone and the hippest clothes. Now here, hippest here means trendy clothes or up to date and so on. However, this also encourages the manufacturers of phones to increase their production capacity. And how do they increase their production capacity? We have chemicals. We have lithium as a chemical, an alkaline chemical used for what? For production of batteries and production of some of the things they use in producing phones. So here, because the company wants to make sales too, what do? They go for the materials, the minerals, the chemicals to enable them continue in the production of those things. So consumption should be reduced. It's one of the ways to checkmate the excesses of mining activities. The next point is education. Education is another crucial measure against mining and its adverse effects on the environmental system. We have to show people how harmful mining can be to our planet. This education should start at a quite young age. By educating school children, they are likely to also convince their parents, and so also parents are likely to pay more attention to this issue and act accordingly. Now, this is very clear. Now, you agree with me that when you get home and you tell your mom a particular thing, sometimes they may not even agree with you at that particular time, but they go on to research, and after their research, they can see this is how it is. And in their offices, on their places of work, they tend to contribute meaningfully. So if you students will bring to their notice the effects, adverse effects of what mining, they will have to tell the government to see, this is the effect. Okay, how can we reduce it? And it becomes a talking point. And from then, we can reduce the adverse effect of what mining activities in a country. The next one, proper waste disposal. Proper waste disposal. Correct waste disposal is vital to curbing the environmental impact of mines. As some mining companies do not dispose of their waste according to guidelines, companies can invest in equipment that helps in turning waste into reusable material, as well as adopting policies that allow for a more eco-friendly waste disposal routine. Now, what the point is actually saying that there should be a proper way whereby the chemicals that are not useful again in mining sector should be gotten rid of in a more decent way that it should not be harmful, it will not affect human life or crops or animals. So that's what he's saying. So instead of disposing carelessly, it could be used in such a way whereby the chemical will be reusable. There are some modern equipment or modern technologies that makes some chemical reusable. So those technologies make chemicals or some of the stuff the mining sectors use, they make them reusable. So that's what it's saying here. The point is saying proper waste disposal. The essence of this is it will protect the farms, to protect the old rivers. The fishes will be kept safe. They will not be hampered. They will not be killed because of careless disposal of waste, because they do a lot in those sites. So mining sites, they do a lot there. So some of the stuff they get rid of should be disposed properly, or they got rid of should be disposed properly. The next one is improving the efficiency of manufacturing processes by closing by closely monitoring the standard mining supply chain. Mining sector will be forced to confront the ways in which a company can improve its efficiency by seeing exactly where the organization is lacking in terms of sustainability and mining initiative, thus reducing the hazardous effects of mining sites on the environment. Now, here is talking about using the modern equipment to carry out the manufacturing processes. Now, you agree with me, there are some things we used to do the old way, and what the advent of technology, we got rid of those things, and by so doing, just like, let me give you an example, paperless policy. Paperless policy talks about using less of paper and more of a technology, a computer to pass information. So modern equipment could be used to replace the old ones that actually are harmful when being used in the production processes. So when the new technology are in place, it will actually one promote effectiveness and efficiency, and also minimize harmful effects on the environment, on people, and the rivers and society at large. So with this, I'm going to draw the curtain here. And before you go, let's take the assignment. Discuss 5 contributions of mining sector to the economic development of Nigeria. Discuss 5 contributions of mining sector to the economic development of Nigeria. Thank you very kindly. I'm very excited that you followed to the end. Stay safe. Be in your best behavior. I hope to see you guys soon. Bye bye.